anybody who's sitting in a criminal courtroom, whether they're admitted to you or not, if they're charged with a crime, the question is, what is going to happen to me if I'm found guilty?
Answer is, it depends on a whole host of things. Not only does it depend on what it is you're charged with, but it depends on what your sentence is. And the biggest thing that you should know is that you have a right to appeal that decision. And that's not just saying, I think that the answer is incorrect and I should have been found not guilty. You can appeal a motion to suppress evidence that was wrongfully decided. You can appeal your unprepared attorney's ineffective assistance of counsel. And you can appeal anything that should have gone the other way from the very beginning of your case to the end in order to try to get a good result.
Right. So the appeals process, the way you want to think about it is, was there some sort of an injustice that occurred in my case? And if so, is there anything that I can do about it? And very often it's a technical inquiry. There are very specific rules. It's not like you get to have like a retrial on appeal. Issues of like things like witness credibility are sort of won and lost in the trial court, but all of the legal issues and the procedural fairness issues are things that are ripe for an appeal. So just because you've been found guilty doesn't mean that, all hope is lost. We happen to have an extensive appellate practice where, through careful research and mastery of the law, we're able to help people to vacate, or in other words, erase their prior conviction or have their conviction reversed on appeal.
There are other situations that are even short of a full appeal. We can file motions for new trial if we're able to show that there was some sort of defense that was not unearthed at the first trial or at the first plea or before the plea, to make sure that you're entitled to that full and fair defense possible. In addition to just the motions for new trial, there are things that we can do about looking to see if you have an option to seal your record or to file a motion to expunge or to show that something might have been different, trying to reopen that old case.
You might think to yourself, all that is well and good, but here I am at the moment and I'm found guilty. What is actually going to happen to me? So let's talk a little bit about that and what the lawyer's role is in helping you with that process.
So that's a great question. And really what it comes down to is effective arguments for disposition, for what your sentence should be. We have had cases where, for a variety of reasons, we've gone to trial knowing that our defense is just not there, and received better results after trial than before because of the way we were able to tell the client's story to the judge and explain, even if the result is guilty, that the person should not be sent to prison. They should not have consequences of registering as a sex offender. They should not result in a whole host of different collateral consequences.
Like being deported.
Being deported. And making those arguments to a judge and really demonstrating that the person who is accused or at that point convicted of a crime is a human in need of leniency, in need of that compassion. We're able to make arguments that can result in fantastic results even after a conviction.
Right. I mean, what skilled lawyers do and ought, or at least ought to do, is be prepared for all possible outcomes. I mean, look, every lawyer goes into court wanting to win. People go to trial because they think they have a reasonable chance of winning or receiving a more favorable result. But sometimes the jury disagrees or the case doesn't go that way. So I think what a lawyer must do is be prepared for even those terrible outcomes and have the information available and ready to be able to share with the court, to humanize the client and to put the alleged offense into perspective, to mitigate the consequences as much as possible.
And having that ability to understand what those consequences outside of jail or not jail is crucial, that your attorney knows whether this is going to affect your ability to drive a taxi, how this is going to impact, as Murad said, your immigration, whether this is going to result in you having to register as a sex offender or lose your driver's license or have a whole host of different potential consequences. Being able to make effective and legal-based and knowledge-based arguments is crucial to making sure that even after a loss, you don't just give up.
Right. I mean, what can happen to you after you're found guilty? In a lot of ways, it depends on whether or not you have the right help. If you want the right help, give us a call.